Dr. Manoranjan Sinha is a professor at IIT Kharagpur in the Department of Aerospace Engineering. He received his BTech in Aerospace Engineering from IIT Delhi in 1993 and consequently obtained MTech and PhD in Aerospace Engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. He pursued his postdoctoral research in neural networks at the University of Saskatchewan in Canada under the supervision of Professor Madan M. Gupta. Later, he served as an assistant professor at Birla Institute of Technology or BITS Pilani and IIT Bombay. He joined the Department of Aerospace Engineering in IIT Kharagpur in 2004. His research interests include neural networks, flight dynamics, and attitude dynamics. He has contributed to over 70 research publications in these fields. He is involved with the lunar satellite orbit determination, lunar gravity, and topography modeling for the Chandrayaan Mission 1 of ISRO. He's also working on reconfigurable flight control. He was awarded the President of India Gold Medal, Institution of Engineers India in 2013, and Vikram Award for Systems in 2010. He's also interested in integrative cosmology from both scientific and Vedantic perspectives and their connections to the origin of life in the cosmos. So I'd like to hand over the stage a space now to Professor Sinha. Professor Sinha, sir.
Okay, so the origin of life and universe. The process of creation involving origin of life and origin of universe is very complex, as you might be knowing from the earlier lectures. Some very stalwarts, they have already given lectures, and there's nothing to say much about that. But what is the problem? That the origin of universe and origin of life, they are connected together. However, the modern science studies it independently. The origin of universe is somewhere else and origin of life is somewhere else. But both are connected together. Views on origin of universe, there are many, like the Big Bang steady state model, this is due to the Fred Hoyle. Then the holographic universe. So these are some of the views. Big Bang is more established. Many people, they support it, many scientists, they support it, but the others, the steady state universe and holographic universe. Holographic is basically a recent one. The steady state universe, like the then Vishnu Narlikar, he worked with Fred Hoyle, and from there it's coming. So all these views based on inferences which has its own limitations. The current view for the lectures, the last two lectures we have seen that the one is the primordial soup model, another the panspermia model. So then there it mutates to create a number of species over billion of years. But this also results in agnostic view of the life. The question is here that the cell, it's a mutating and creating a living being, whether that's happening or not. So I will come to this point little later, so once we go into the slide further. Okay. If the life, it originates from the molecules and just a lump of molecules, somehow or other it got created, whether it's a panspermia. Panspermia assumes that the life was somewhere else, and then from there it's spreading throughout the universe. But there is no talk about whether it's just the molecules are creating life or there is something else. So if it is so, if it is just molecules, then why do we cry if the son, daughter, mother, wife or husband, they die? Then if we are sending satellite in the outer space, so always we send the dogs, cats and rabbits, so on, to save ourselves. Okay. We don't spend any time the daughter, our daughter, or either son, or either we go ourselves, because we fear for our life. Then if the life is just a set of molecules, so why do we give imprisonment for murder if the life is a set of molecules? There is no meaning. The set of molecules, it's a murder, it's a murder. There is no problem. Okay, but that's not true. So many punishments, so many laws, and all these things are there. In that context, as we know, there are many unanswered questions, and these questions, some of these questions I have taken from the Science magazine of so some, if I remember correctly, maybe some 20 years back or something like that, it was published, and there appeared some 120 questions which were at that time still unanswered. So out of that, these are some of the questions which are listed here. Is our the only universe dark matter, cosmic inflation, how it's coming out? So there are so many of them listed here: nature of gravity, quantum non-locality, and so on. Quantum gravity, obviously, people are trying, but there is no evidence of any bit of progress in that area. So in the science, what we do experiments, we conclude, and we make some inferences, but we describe how, but not why. So the speed of light, we say it's independent from the measurements made on Earth. So we concluded that Einstein got this evidence because the Michelson-Morley experiment. From there, he concluded that light must be independent of the reference frame. And then he published his special relativity. But the question is why the speed of light is independent of relative motion of the observers. This is a basic question. Similarly, why the subatomic particles show wave particle duality? We simply say that the particle, subatomic particles, they show wave particle duality. But what's the reason? Why it is so? Non-local locality phenomenon. It's a that also not why it's happening. It's not visible. Recent issues which are coming up, dark matter, which are not seeable or touchable. Some computations show 5 times more than the normal matter in the universe, which includes all planets, stars, black holes, etc. But it's still elusive. So it is quite possible that our understanding of the universe is flawed, and because of this, a ghost of dark matter arises. Holographic universe. Now, the view about the universe, just I told that the steady state universe, there are other models also. I have not listed all of them. So, making of any object or system information plays a pivotal role in making of that system. Just like one example from the biology, the synthesis of protein in the body is carried out by ribosome by using amino acid and energy often through conversion of ATP to ADP. However, it is impossible for it to do so without the information brought in by the DNA in the nucleus of the cell. So, a robot may be manufacturing in any factory. Robots are everywhere nowadays in the factory. So it's working very finely because it has been given certain information to work in a particular way. So that means the information plays a pivotal role in physical systems and processes. So I quote from John A. Wheeler, the physical world should be regarded as made of information with energy and matter as incidentals. So recently, earlier it was thought that exchange of information, just like in the quantum mechanics, it does not violate the energy. It does not violate or create, or it does not basically needs energy. But it so happens the recent evidence and calculations is showing that the information, like you are putting information in the hard drive. So there it requires energy to store it. So the same way in the universe also, the information embedding it requires a lot of energy. So based on that, some scientists they think that the nature of universe is holographic, and what we see is just merely an enacted version of that. So information is there on a slide, and from there you are seeing it's an enacted version. So these are some of the views, and why all these views are coming up, because there is no concrete evidence of anything. Maybe some you can say the in the balance one pen is more tilted than the other one, but it's not that it's 100% tilted. Similarly, for the explaining the particles and other things, the string theory, then later the superstring theory, all these were hypothesized, but they are now in offing. And nowadays, mostly it's a quantum field theory. Quantum mechanics, it's almost gone. The quantum field theory, it's now in the picture. So all these, they indicate that our knowledge of the universe is not very conclusive. The ancient texts, they mention about the, especially Vedic text I am talking about, they mention about the presence of innumerable universes. We are sorry for mistakes. The universes of varied dimensions. It's not of 3 dimension, 4 dimension, it's a varied dimension. So more than 3, 4, 5 and so on. So only few years back, multi-universe has been considered as a possibility by the cosmologists. Now the people are talking, and these were the talk while the Vedas were written 5,000 years back. So moreover, ancient texts also mention about the planets of such a nature that if anything fell on the ground of it, okay, it was not visible, okay, and then the inhabitants of that planet left it. So it mentions the planets also, that on which there, and then something fell on the surface, and that object was never then visible. Okay, so people then left it. So that planet was then bucketed. Okay, visualization of black holes through event horizon. The telescope nowadays, we have event horizon telescope. It was recently in news, okay, maybe a few years back. So it's not really visualization of the black hole, rather it is the snapshot of matter in front of it. The matter that is falling inside, okay, so it's radiating. So isn't it possible that rather than this being a black hole, it's just another planet, what we are, the Vedic text is talking, on the surface of which some material fell, and then it was not visible. Then the people have to leave that planet. So there are so many possibilities. These are not all the conclusions. So thus many questions can be raised on the modern cosmological version of the reality of the universe. So what I am trying to portray here, that the conclusions we are making, it's inferential. Okay. And as I will come to that, the inferential knowledge, it's never perfect. Okay, you cannot be 100% sure about that. So it will be a great hurry to portray the universe built on its own without any information being added to it, just like synthesis of protein. Okay, we talked before. So inferences, it has its own limit. Now let us take an example. How the universe works, it's a very peculiar. We may not be aware of the things because we are not in touch with those kind of people. The book by Swami Ram, the book name is Living with the Himalayan Masters. It mentions yogis getting reduced to handful of ash within a fraction of second by meditating on solar plexus. What we call in Hindi Navi. Okay, so on the abdomen there is a place we call Navi in Hindi. It's called also solar plexus in yoga. So, but just by meditating on that in front of Swami Ram, they got reduced to ash because they wanted to leave the body. Okay. This will require millions of degree temperature to happen. Okay, so how this is happening? So this tells that material nature is very, very complex. Okay. And whatever we are doing, manipulating or working out, it's just the observed nature. Okay, and behind this, another reality lies. There is some story is something different. It's a very complex. It's a quote by Max Planck, who says that the fundamental in this principle of every genuinely productive science are not based on pure logic, but rather on metaphysical hypothesis. Something outbreaking assumption people have made. Okay. So it's coming from somewhere else. Okay, this is what he's trying to say. Now let us go into the Vedantic epistemology and see what I was talking about just before, that the limitations of inferences. So here we have certain limitations listed. So all the logic system, it's based on that. The limitation of pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means the direct perception. So Brahma, illusion, we can be illuded. What we are seeing, that's not the truth. Like we are seeing cloud on the hilltop and we are thinking that there may be fire, or there may be fire, we are thinking it's a cloud. Samaj, to do mistake, everybody is doing certain mistakes. Then limitation of senses, karnapatava, if we cannot see in the other room just by our side, with the lipsa, this cheating propensity, especially it's a very favorite to some of the people in the publishing journal papers and other things. If you are not getting the result, just manipulate little bit and publish it. Anumana, inference. So it's a Vedanta Sutra, it says the logic cannot provide the final proof. So one should not, in Mahabharata also it's a given, one should not use logic to understand what is inconceivable. So the finally, what is established in the Vedas, it's called the revealed knowledge. And in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 15th chapter, 15th verse, it's written, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness. Matta smriti jnanam apunam cha. So revealed knowledge is considered to be the best knowledge. Okay. And everybody does not get revealed knowledge. Only certain people who are capable of, they get the revealed knowledge. So from the Vedantic perspective, we have the 3 stages of creation. So what you see in the first figure on the left hand side, up one, okay. There the Golok is shown there. So it's the first thing from the Lord Krishna. It's becoming a little theological, but this is what the Vedic text they mention. Okay. So it is stated like this: Swara Parma Krishna Sachidanand Vigra Nadi Radir Govinda Sarkaran Karanam. So he is the cause of every cause. So from there, the Mahavishnu, the first Purusa incarnation, it appears. Okay. And from there, the second Purusa incarnation, it's called the Garbhodaksai Vishnu, he appears. And from there, the third incarnation, the Kshirodaksai Vishnu appears. So the Karnodaksai Vishnu or the Mahavishnu, which is the first Purusa incarnation, from him emanates innumerable universes at every instant and dissolved at every instant. Okay. Many of them are dissolved. Okay. So next, in all such universes is expansion. By expanding, he enters into the different universes, and then further expansion, he enters into the every atoms to energize it, to make it work. So let us look into how this universal creation goes. So it's not only the creation of the universe, okay, it's the creation of life simultaneously. So life is always present. As this is apparent from the block diagram here. So Pradhana is the unmanifest stage of matter, and it's mixed with also the three modes. So three modes are basically the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. This is the language used in the Vedas. We do not have any alternative for that, but it's an unmanifest stage of matter. The people may say it's a quantum vacuum. Okay. So once the three modes, it agitates the pradhana, okay, which is the sum of all the material elements, okay, in unmanifested form, in dissolved form. Okay, it's a totally dissolved form. Okay, we call this as prakriti. And in the prakriti, then by the god, the spiritons are injected. Okay, the spiritons are nothing but the living souls, living entities. And once it's injected, it gets activated. Okay, in the Mahatattva, so finally we have the spiritons and the material elements both together. But what is the difference between Pradhana and Mahatattva? Mahatattva, the time exists. In the Pradhana, there is no presence of time. Okay, there is flow of time in Mahatattva. So until unless there is flow of time, there is no infraction of matter. It's only the time which causes the matter to interact. And the time that we experience, it's just a mental activity. And this time is something different, what is shown here in this. So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It says that nature exists as equilibrium of the three modes of material nature. And this constitutes the effective cause of the universe. So for the universe, from this Mahatattva, then all the elements, they start separating out. Then the five gross elements, five subtle elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Don't think that this is the earth on which we live and the water that we drink. These are the elements of which all the universe is made of. Then the subtle elements, non-visible elements, this is a smell, taste, color, touch, and the sound. Then the 10 senses for acquiring knowledge and action, all these are at the subtle level. Okay. Then we have lastly here in this place the four subtle senses, mind, intelligence, false ego, and contaminated consciousness. These are the 25 elements, and plus time, that makes it 25. And then the Srimad Bhagavatam mentions about the 9 types of creations. So already the creation of the Mahatattva I have talked about. This is the first creation, and thereafter the other creation starts. So in the second stage, the false ego is generated. So once this is Mahatattva is there, then the false ego is the first one to get created. Then follows the others in the sequence. Later on, I will show you some more slides in which some details are given. So sense perception are created in the third creation, and from these elements are generated the fourth creation in the creation of the knowledge, and so on. Okay, now here it comes, as it's shown here, the seventh creation, it comes the immovable entities which are of 6 kinds, the fruits, trees, without flowers, and so on, trees, plants, and etc. So it's already listed that 8.4 million varieties of the species are there in this universe, and they will manifest over the life of the universe. Okay, some may be manifest at certain time, other may not be manifest at certain time. But there are total of 8.4 million species. All immovable trees, plants seek their sustenance upward. They are almost unconscious, but have feeling of pain within. So even the plants and other creepers, they all have pain. So Earth's creation is about the animals, lower species of life. They have the intelligence, but they cannot remember a lot. Then finally comes the human beings. Now you see that this creation was done by, as written, by Lord Brahma. So it's not done in one shot. It's a sequential. The first the simple living entities, and then at the end has come the human being. So what you see in your geological evidences, so if you see somewhere the gradation at that certain point, some living entities have turned up. Okay, at other times they are not present. So it may be because of this sequencing in time. Okay, because the time at the level of Brahma, say the level of 12 hours of Lord Brahma, it is about 4.32 billion years. Okay, for the on the earth, earthly years. So in these 12 hours, if he, even if he takes his own few minutes to do the thing, so you can imagine that how much grading will be created in the on the earth or either on in the universe in the creation of the living entities. Okay, and there are certainly many other details like the Manus were created and some rishis, 11 rishis were created, and then the daughters of the Manus they were given to the rishis, and from there then the progeny started and then it spread. There are so many things, but all these things did not happen on the earth, remember. Okay, it appears that everything has happened on the earth. It has happened and in some higher dimension, in some other places. So this cosmic manifestation, it's totally under the control of the Lord, as it is told in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dikshena Prakriti Suyate Sarcharacharam Ketu Nana Kontaya Jagati Pravartiti. So it's just a translation of that, Bhagavad Gita 9.8 number verse. So Heisenberg has to say something. He says that there is a higher power not influenced by our wishes, which finally decides and judges. So the question is natural. So why does universe exist? The life is existing. So we do not have that much of time to go into that those details. But the spiritons which are injected into the universe, so those spiritons are eternal. Okay, there is no beginning when it was not there, and there will not be any end when those spiritons will not be there. And these are the conscious living entity. Okay, just you say the electron, so this is spiriton. Okay, and this word was coined by Dr. TDC. So spiritons are the conscious entity. It can experience, and because of that, and it has also, just like the supreme creator, it has also the independence, and this independence can be misused by anyone. And then to, if there is desire arising, okay, so that desire, for fulfilling that desire, these material worlds are created. So we have innumerable material worlds from ranging from 3 dimension to multi-dimension. Okay, I will skip some of the things. I think the time is how much time I have?
We have about 10 minutes.
Okay. So in the big vision model, some of the statements from other renowned scientists also I have quoted here. I would say the universe has a purpose. It is not there somehow by chance. There are unique physical constants of our universe. If value of these physical constants had been slightly different, the universe would have been very different. That makes many think that our universe is very special. This was Charles Darwin, and similarly the Isaac Newton. So in the context of panspermia, Professor Vikramasinghe was talking about, I will say that the soul is told to be sarvagata, means it's everywhere. If you break a stone, it will be inside a stone. If you take a bacteria and if you try to flourish in the space station, you free it from all the bacteria, you just keep it inside something, you take it anywhere. Okay, one single bacteria, and if you try to grow it in petri dish, it will grow again. Okay, it will multiply because soul is everywhere. Okay. So the panspermia, whatever is there, the Professor Vikramasinghe was telling. Okay, so it just talks about the this bacteria coming from somewhere else, and then the Darwinian this evolution applied to this. But I will just quote from the I will say from the Vedic literature that Vedic literature says that the intra-species mutation takes place, but not the interspecies. So it is mentioned that the size of the plants and the trees and the living entities, it will become very small as the time progresses. Okay. And we see that the scarcity of the food and the scarcity of water and the bad environment, so already our health is degrading. Okay, so over a period of time, our body needs to adjust it. Okay. So we need mutation, we need adjustment for that. So our genetics will change. That is going to happen. But it's an infra-species, not interspecies. That bacteria someday it will become a human being. It's not stated anywhere. Because the Lord Brahma he created, and there were many species. He has created 8.4 million species, not one single one. Okay. And some of them they existed in the timeline and then disappeared. As their karma manifests, they will be there. If their karma, that kind of karma is not supported by the environment, they will not be manifest. So, in the case of, again, the time description is always there. So, here you can see that the universe, creation of the universe and the creation of the living entities, it's a entangled together. It's a combined together. It's not separate. Just like we talk about the Big Bang and somehow or other suddenly there is life is coming into picture. So that's not there. Panspermia, again it assumes that life is somewhere there and from there something is coming out. But that bacteria and all those things, from where it's coming? So this has not been answered. So so therefore we have billions of people. So we see that the people sometimes may be disfigured because of the mutation. They may be having even the nose is looking like a trunk, okay, or something like that. So those kind of things happen, but they are not stable. Okay, those kind of genetics it's not stable and it gets washed out. So we have already the genetically stable things made. Okay, and those which are not genetically stable, they will appear just a fraction of time and then they will be over. So, like the virus, recently we are the COVID, we are seeing this. So, COVID, it's a one is mutating, it's a mutating so fast. Okay, so people will say that over the billion of years it's a mutating, but we see that it's a mutating fast and it's a billions of people are crores of people in India itself have got infected, but we don't see that the virus got converted to something else. Okay. It's a very debatable, so I don't go into all those things. But this is the statement given in the Vedic text. So we have the real time also, the absolute time mentioned. The absolute time, the eternal time, this is the primal source of interaction, the three modes of material nature. So until unless this is present in the Mahatattva that I mentioned it, the Mahatattva, it will not further manifest in this material world. It will not fructify in terms of various elements, the 24 elements that I have mentioned. So this presence of eternal time, it's necessary. And this time is the absolute time. Then we have the real time. Real time, it's just measured in terms of covering of certain particular atomic space as it's given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And there are other times also as experienced by us. So it's a mental, just a mental activity. So metaphysically, the time is distinguished as absolute and the real. Absolute time is continuous and is unaffected by the speed or the slowness of material things. Real time astronomically and mathematically is calculated in relation to the speed of change and something time. So this whatever we measure on the earth, so this we measure as the real time. But there is something else which we call as the absolute time. Now let us go quickly and look into this, the relativity of the space. So Kakudami, he was son of Ravat Manu. Okay, already we are in the seventh mantra, means we are in the reign of the seventh Manu. And Ravat Manu, his daughter was this Kakudami, his daughter was Revati. So once he became fit for marriage, then he went to Brahmalok for inquiring to Lord Brahma. And he stayed there for some time only, but in the meanwhile, Chaturyugas passed, means the 0.11664 billion years, earthly years passed by that time. Okay, so it may appear from here that, okay, he might have gone through certain path and then therefore it has taken so much of time. So it appears like the special relativity. Once something is in the motion and therefore the special relativity is coming up. But that's not true. Let us look below. The Lord Brahma still covered by in Vrindavan. Okay, it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, and he did it for a fraction of second. Okay, just few seconds or say the fraction of second. But in the meanwhile, 1 year passed on the earth. And in the Vrindavan, the people were surprised. What happened that he stole all the cows and many of the cows, his boys. And then Lord Krishna can understand that he has done it. So Lord Brahma did it out of curiosity, but Lord Krishna, what he did, he manifested himself as different cowboys and cows, and in the Vrindavan, everything was intact. But the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they were loving their children and the cows much more. The cows were loving their calves a lot. So they used to take the calves for grazing in the field, and this happened in the field. So the things changed during the 1 year. So the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they were loving their child much more than before. So Lord Brahma was very surprised how this is happening. Then he came and bowed before Lord Krishna, and when he manifested himself, he showed that each and every, the cowherd boys and the cows, they are all Vishnu. So Lord Brahma, he did not take all those cowherd boys and everything to his own abode. Okay, there was no transition or something involved. But these things are so complex, the dimensions are so complex, and it's as I told you that the yogi, he just got converted into as within a fraction of second by meditating on solar plexus. So the nature, it's a very, very complex, beyond our comprehension. Okay, we comprehend the visible things and something that we see through inferences, our instruments and other things. But the complexity is shown here that Brahma is there just for a fraction of, for a few seconds, he has taken it. Okay, and he is there nearby only, but the time has elapsed. Okay, for him the time is different, and for the earthly people the time is different. So the relativity of time is everywhere present. These are the various domains where the relativity of time is present. So it's told that the already I have stated here that our 4.32 billion years, it's equivalent to 12 hours of Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma even he lives for 1 nimesha. 1 nimesha is the time in which we blink. Okay. And it's a given, how much it's exactly comes, it's a given in the Vedic literature. So within 1 nimesha, the Lord Brahma gets over. 1 nimesha of Lord Krishna. So it's so fast. If you look in one domain, the time is very slow. If you go to another domain, time is passing very fast. The people are dying. If we come to the earth, so we are nothing in front of all those things. So in the Brahma's life, total life is around 3.11.04 trillion years. But this universe life is given to be somewhere, if I remember correctly, say 13.6 or 13.4 billion years. Okay. And some of the stars are more older than that, but it's told that it's experimental errors. It's told that it's just like experimental errors. and because of that, those stars, they appear more older than the universe. So the modern science, it says that the universe is billions of light years in dimension. Okay, but the age of the universe is small, 13.6 or 8 billion years. The Vedic text, they tell that the universe life is somewhere right now. It may be I have not written that value here, but it's around 155 trillion years already passed. Okay, so universe is very old. Okay, but the dimension is not that big. Okay. So all those details are there. So I don't think we need to discuss too many of the details here. The duration of the two parts of Brahma life is calculated to be one nimesha. It's of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchanging and unlimited and is the cause of all causes of the universe. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 11th chapter, and 38th number verse. Similarly, there is relativity of time between Goloka, Vishnu Loka, and other lokas as mentioned in the Vedic literature. So to conclude, there are various time domains inside the universe where the clock ticks at different rates. If it is so, then assuming that uniformity of the space and basing all the measurements and calculation accordingly, it's a frightening, because we are doing inferences. We are measuring sitting on the earth. We are not going there. And we are assuming the space throughout to be uniform. And if the space throughout its behavior is not the same, okay, it's a different domain where the clock ticks at a different rate, okay, then what happens? So in that case, whatever we are concluding sitting here in this place, it's very difficult to say how much what the real truth is. So Vedic cosmology and the life there already I have mentioned. So creation and annihilation of the universes, they go in the cycle. During the lifetime of a universe, there are partial creation, annihilation. So it's not that the life is created one time. Okay, the temperature, how the devastation takes place after 4.3 billion years of 4.32 billion years of hours, the Lord Brahma, 12 hours will be over. Then all the planets and other things, they will be unmanifest. Okay. Temperature of the universe rises and so on. Many details are given there. Okay. Temperature of the universe will be rises and all the material elements will be dismantled, everything, and they will be again fragmented to the same Mahatattva, and the Mahatattva will be back and it will be taken back to the Pradhana. So this is the way the things they work. So we have number of annihilation, partial annihilation, universal, elemental annihilation, and daily annihilation also we see. So there are total 3 kinds of annihilation as it's mentioned in the Vedic literature. So thanks. I hope that I am within time.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your presentation.
So if you have any questions,
yeah, yes. So please, if any of you, we need to unshare the slide, and so that we can see the speaker as well as the participant in the Q&A.
So I need to unshare the slides.
Yes, please.
Should I stop sharing the slide?
Yes, please. Please stop sharing the slide so we can read that.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let me take a look at questions. Okay, so we have got a question from Nikit Kumar Jha, followed by Kunal Kumar. So, Nikit Kumar, can you unmute yourself and just your question, just one question, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir, for your presentation on Vedas, so that we could understand about the Indian philosophy and ideology also. Like, is there any evidence like Brahma Loka's life is just less than 1 second when compared to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is there any evidence that Brahma and then Vishnu all are different? Because it is said that Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh all are same and are one form or the other. But you told mainly that Vishnu is the supreme Lord and then Brahma's life is fractional. Can you elaborate this thing?
All these things are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Say there are two major philosophies existing in India. Okay, so one is called Nirakar Brahma, but it's we accept this as the partial part. As I told you that Brahma Samhita and Srimad Bhagavatam, they all mention one single word can be enough. Srimad Bhagavatam also mentions Yeti Chancha Kala Kunta Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam Indra Hari Vyapulam Lokan Medendi Yoge Yoge. So all these incarnation, everything, all it's a Ansa, it's a Avtara of Lord Krishna. Brahma Samhita is another literature which was brought in around 15th or 16th century by Lord Chaitanya from South India, one temple. Okay, that Brahma Samhita, the first verse is mentioned Iswara Parma Krishna Sachidanand Vigraha Anadi Rajar Govinda Sarkaran Karanam. He is the cause of every cause, and he is the first, and he is the Adi, and he is Anadi also. There is no beginning to him, and he is the first also. So it's a very difficult to understand all this thing. Okay, so
So
Lord
Brahma is
Brahma,
different or is it same?
Lord Brahma is different. Lord Brahma comes under the living entity. Okay, he is just a living entity like us, but he is much more powerful than us. So Lord Krishna, he has multiple incarnations. So as mentioned in the Vedic literature, the Lord Krishna, Mahavishnu, if you go like the Vishnu and other things, so just like one candle, it's the first candle. If you have, it's a burning, and you can light other candles. Okay, but the first candle, it becomes the source of light for the others. Okay, so those things are constitutionally the Lord Vishnu. He is the same as Lord Brahma, but he is not exactly the same as constitutionally the Lord Vishnu is the same as Lord Krishna, but he is not exactly the same as Lord Krishna. He does not he is not having that much of power, you can say, or either he does not manifest all those characteristics. Okay, Lord Krishna, it's written that he manifests 64 characteristics. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Lord Rama, he manifests 60 characteristics. All these are in the Vedic literature. Okay,
And he is
when
the
it
ultimate
comes to
source
the
and infinite source also, Lord Vishnu then.
Lord Krishna is the ultimate source of everything. Lord Vishnu and everything emanates from here. And in that context, I would like to mention that many of the Vedic texts, the way it's written, the same story, it's written in different way in different texts. So it will appear that one has come from the other part. Like if you read Vishnu Purans of mm, uh, uh, not Vishnu Puran, some other Puranas. My memory is little blinking because I have just recovered from COVID. So
Yes, sir.
it says that once the Lord Vishnu, he threw one white hair and he plucked one white and one black hair. So from there, Lord Balrama and Lord Krishna appeared. Okay, so it's another way of telling the truth. Just like the Hiranyakasipu, if he is breaking the pillar and from there Lord Narasimha is appearing, so that pillar is not the source of Lord Narasimha. Okay, he is self-manifesting. He is everywhere. He can manifest from any place. Similarly, Lord Krishna, he can manifest from any place. So Lord Vishnu is not on the same level as Lord Krishna. Okay, his level is lower. So there is a gradation. So, but they are come within the Vishnu Tattva. While the Lord Brahma, he comes within the living entity, just like we are living entities, but we are not powerful. But he is endowed with all those power, all this mantra technology and everything. Okay, just like the yogis. If you see I mentioned about you read the book Living with the Himalayan Masters, then you will learn that how this material world is so surprising. Okay, and this Swami Ram, he spent a lot of time doing austerity and other things. He lived with so many yogis in the Himalayas. He learned there, and then he moved here and there. I don't want to discuss about what ultimately happened to him, but the things which are mentioned in the book, it's a very surprising that just by meditating on the solar plexus, okay, in the within a fraction of second of 60, 70, 80 kg body, it's just getting reduced to a handful of ash. Okay, it's a very surprising. It can happen only at millions of degree temperature. It cannot happen just like that. So
Yes, sir. And
some people,
sir, yes, sir.
Or
Yeah.
Aniket,
So,
And
some
sir, did you
people
do some research on like neural network also, like ants and all these creatures
see if a neural
don't?
network is just a mathematical model. Okay, how
Yes, sir.
neural network, it can never model our brain. Okay, it's impossible because in the brain there are trillions of connections. What was thought to be the gray matter, it's actually connection from one part of the brain to the other part of the brain. Neural network can never model. It's a mathematical model. The way the brain works, okay, it stores the information, it processes it. So for that, it's a use. But we can never be. It's never possible to model all those things. You
Yes,
will
sir.
see a few things you can say for granted that this will never happen because those
Yes,
things
sir.
are not possible.
Yes, sir. Like humans can have so much consciousness and they can means touch and means they can smell, they can do everything. But like ants are also conscious, are not conscious, but they are also very worried about their life when we touch them. So like
Ants are very big in
these
size.
different
Ant is
things happen
very
there.
big in size.
Or
Even
Uh,
even the bacteria, it tries to save
Professor
its life.
Sinha, I think not
Okay.
in full health
we
to
need to move to the next
prolong
question,
discussion.
please. Can we
okay,
have
thank you,
Kunal
sir,
It's
for
Kumar
okay.
your
Okay.
unmute yourself?
explanation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, Kunal Kumar.
Yeah, Kunal ji, we are not able to hear you.
Kunal Kumar, can you please ask?
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
please.
Am I audible?
Yes. Yes. You are audible.
Yeah. So, sir, I have two questions. My first question is, like there are claims that some species are going extinct, like dinosaurs and all. So, is that true? That's my first question. And the second question is, like you said that, as per the Vedas, the universe was created 155 trillion something years back. So, how do you calculate that? So, these are the questions.
If Vedas, we do not calculate. These are the repository of information. It's written by Vyasdev, and he was a very powerful person in terms of the higher consciousness. A very powerful person. And if you read about him, so you will be surprised to know that how much evil he was. Okay, so I am not claiming that this was created this time or something like that because there is no way of proving it. Okay, whatever we do, sitting on the earth, we can only just like the scientists, they are making only inferences, so we can make inferences. There is no way of proving it. But the yogis, they have certain amount of technologies, mantra technologies with them, and they exercise. Until today in Himalayas, the yogis are there. In this context, I will just mention one incident. Somebody from Holland, he was very much in news that, also it was shown on the National Geography that he moved in the Himalaya for half an hour barefooted. But yogis in the Himalaya, they remain naked, okay, in the snow, and they stay there forever and in the full snow. Okay, so it's nothing great about that. But the outside the world, it becomes a big news, and those who are living in the Himalayas, it's not a news. Okay,
Okay,
so
so
they are living with.
yeah. So sir,
Yeah,
can you
what,
mention this name of the scripture which describes this fact or which enunciates this fact?
you can read Vishnu Purana, you can read Srimad Bhagavad Purana, you can read Padma Purana. All these are having all these details. You can read Brahma Bhagavad Purana. So all these Puranas, they give you various details.
And sir, my first question that about extinction. So is that true that species are going extinct?
Extinction. See, for anything to manifest, to remain, okay, you need certain environment. Okay, so people with certain karma, they will manifest at certain time, and the other with not having the karma, they will not manifest at that time. Okay, so if the environment is not good and so your karma was having something in the past life, you did something, and for that you need certain support, but the universe is not supporting, so you will not be here. But that does not mean that you are not here. You will be somewhere else, in some other universe, somewhere else. There are innumerable universes coming out from the body of Mahavishnu. Okay, innumerable. Innumerable means innumerable, infinite. Okay, it's just inconceivable. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So their claims that the species like dinosaurs are going extinct can be considered as true.
Yes, there's no doubt about that.
Okay,
because many of the species, they will come and they will go. The dinosaur, if you look into the mammoth, it's just it appears to be intra-species mutation. Okay, mammoth is nothing but our present day elephant. So intra-species, as your environment becomes less friendly, the Srimad Bhagavatam 12th chapter, it mentions that as the time progresses, our size, these plants and everything, they will become very tiny. Okay, they have to, because your environment is not supporting you. If the food is not there, if the water is not there, you need daily at least 2 liters of water to support your body, to keep it hydrated. But if you do not have even 100 ml of water to drink in a day, can you survive? Can this human being survive? It's not possible. So
Okay, thank you very much.
this mutation has to take place, but this mutation is intra-species, not interspecies. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, maybe Domadala, Pramod, I just need one question because we only have 1 minute left for a quick question and a quick answer. Domadala, Pramod, can you please unmute yourself? Just quick question.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor, giving an excellent talk. I have only one question. And it has been debating for many, many centuries. There are two complicated questions. From where the life has come and when and where the life will go, the two complicated questions cannot be answered by the science, except the Vedic science. Do you agree with this statement, sir?
This is true, but even the Vedic science in the current day, you cannot show it. Okay, it's written there, it's already recorded, but we cannot. We as a human being, because we are part of that, so we are not able to show that also. We cannot show it, but it's a truth. As I showed in that block diagram, the spiriton is injected in the Prakriti. Prakriti and spiriton. Spiriton is nothing but the living entities. So once it's mixed, then the Mahatattva is getting created. In the Mahatattva, already the living entities are there. And then all the materials are available to Lord Brahma. The Lord Brahma was created personally by Lord Krishna. He manifested it.
Yes.
And then the Lord Brahma is responsible for creating all the living entities. So 8.4 million varieties of living entities. Science has not listed even those kind of things.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. Thank you, Professor Sinha, for your
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you for giving me opportunity.